In the trading ports of the Niger Delta, where palm oil flowed like gold and European ships dotted the horizon like hungry seabirds, rose a legend whose name would echo through generations. Jubo Juboga, known to history as King Jaja of Opobo. Born in Igboland around 1821, he was sold into slavery as a child, bearing the name Mbanaso Okwaro Zurumba. Yet destiny had greater plans for this young boy who arrived in Bonny Kingdom in chains. Through remarkable intelligence and an iron will, he earned not just his freedom, but the respect of both African and European traders. In Bonny, he took the name Jaja, given by the British traders who struggled with his African name. He rose through the ranks of the Bonny trading house of Allison, eventually becoming the head of the Anna Pepple House. His business acumen was legendary. He could calculate complex trading figures in his head faster than Europeans with their papers. But Bonny's political waters were treacherous. When rivalry between trading houses erupted into civil war, Jaja made a bold and unprecedented move. In 1869, he led his supporters out of Bonny to found a new settlement, Opobo, named after the great king Opobo, the Great of Bonny. Jaja chose his location with masterly strategic insight. Opobo commanded the trading routes to the interior, forcing European ships to pay dues to him. He established a monopoly over the palm oil trade, building such wealth and influence that even Queen Victoria of England sent him gifts. In Opobo, Jaja created something remarkable, an African kingdom that dealt with Europeans on equal terms. He sent his children to school in Britain, traded directly with European firms, and maintained a fleet of trading vessels that sailed as far as Liverpool. The Europeans who came to trade found themselves facing a shrewd negotiator who understood both African and European ways. He would entertain them in a grand European-style mansion, wearing fine English clothes, yet never forgetting the traditional authority that made him king. But his greatest test came when the European powers began their scramble for Africa. The British, who had once treated him as an equal, now saw his control over trade as an obstacle. They tried to bypass his authority through treaties, but Jaja stood firm, protecting his people's interests. In 1887, the British invited him for negotiations aboard a warship. Despite warnings from his advisors, Jaja went, believing in the honor of a fair dialogue. It was a trap. He was arrested and forced into exile in the West Indies, thousands of miles from his kingdom. Even in exile, Jaja's dignity never wavered. He continued to advocate for his people's rights through letters and petitions. When finally allowed to return in 1891, he died before reaching home, allegedly poisoned during his stop in Tenerife. But Jaja's legacy lived on. He had shown that an African kingdom could modernize without losing its identity, could trade with Europeans without becoming subservient, and could stand up to colonial powers with dignity. The people of Opobo tell their children that on nights when the palm oil trade was at its peak, you could see Jaja's spirit standing at the riverbank, watching over the trade routes he once controlled. They say the waves of the river still whisper his story, of a man who rose from chains to build a kingdom that challenged an empire. Today, King Jaja's story serves as a powerful reminder of African agency and resistance during the colonial period. His life showed that true greatness isn't in never falling, but in rising from each fall stronger than before. The elders say that whenever palm oil is poured in libation, a drop is spilled for Jaja. The slave who became a king, the trader who became a legend, the man who dared to challenge an empire.